TNA Impact Wrestling. This is one of the elite in the company, been here for a while. X Division, you think of X Division, or at least I do, I think of Styles, Daniels, and Kazarian. Well, Kaz, just talk about tonight. You've got the big pay-per-view, which highlights the X Division. What was it like for you being involved in the X Division and just seeing how this thing has evolved?
It's great, being here, having just celebrated our 10th anniversary, having a pay-per-view surrounded around the X Division is a really big honor for those of us that kind of pioneered this whole division. When I first got here in 2003, the X Division still really hadn't been defined. All people knew is that it was awesome. And it was really cool, and there were some really cool athletes like Christopher Daniels, like AJ Styles, like at that time Jerry Lynn, Low Key, Amazing Red, Chris Sabin, Frankie Kazarian, And I think over the course of the last 10 years, we've really kind of put our stamp on the industry permanently. The word X Division is going to be stamped on the pro wrestling industry permanently because of what we created. So, to have it still going strong and to have a whole pay-per-view surrounded around it was really cool and really something that I'm proud of personally.
As you see how it's gone during that time, there have been some highs and lows, or has it been pretty consistent?
It's
what do you think?
The one consistent in the X Division is the caliber of athlete. We've never had a lack of incredibly talented, amazing wrestlers that competed in the X Division. The X Division itself, how it's defined, has absolutely had its peaks and valleys. I remember when we first started doing television here in Orlando, at the time, a lot of the main events in Nashville on the pay-per-views were X Division matches. That was the X Division kind of carried the company, match quality-wise, as opposed to what the heavyweights and tag teams were doing at the time. And then they went through a time where, for whatever reason, the X Division wasn't necessarily a focal point. Maybe that was because of lack of depth or because just the focus was on something else or various other things at the time. So how the X Division is defined has had its peaks and valleys, but I think right now it's, especially after tonight, this might be I don't know if you want to call it another rebirth, but a very good stepping stone to refocus the X Division and define it again.
Is it something that you would like to be a part of again?
I'll never, I never say never. At this point in my career, I'm in 14 years now, and one of the things I'm most proud of is being a guy that is one of the founding fathers of the X Division, because there can only be so many, and I'm very, very blessed that I was in that class, and I've been an X Division champion I think 5 times. And I don't necessarily want to say it's a case of been there, done that, but at this point in my career, my focus is on world heavyweight titles and things I have yet to achieve. Will I never compete in another X Division match? Absolutely not. I would love to get in there, especially with this new crop of guys, and compete, because I can still do that at a high level. But right now, if you asked if my focus was the X Division, it's not. My focus is right now tag team wrestling and eventual heavyweight title.
Speaking of tag team, we're at Daniels. What's just that like? That's one of your friends.
Oh, it's great.
That's one of your real life friends.
Yeah,
Am I fair to say that?
When I first left Killer Kowalski School and moved back home, way back in '98.
That would be up in the Massachusetts area, right?
Moved out there to train from Southern California. Moved out to Massachusetts to train. Came home. Pockets ran a little thin, out there. So I was out there for about a year training. Had a couple matches. Came back. My first day walking into any type of wrestling, anything in California. There's a wrestling school out there run by Jesse Hernandez, Bill Anderson at the time, and I went in there because that was their school. They had a school and they promoted shows. I go in there. Who was running the show? Who was running class was Christopher Daniels. When he had hair, when he had long hair. So this was 1998. So met him then. Quickly became pals just by seeing each other on the indie scene, especially out in Southern California at the time. And and over the last that was 14 years ago. Over the last, I want to say, 10 to 12, we've really become friends. He's like one of my best friends in the world. So, we've traveled together for so many years, and we know each other so well, so the chemistry's there. So it's automatic, it clicks. So it's a really cool, it's a comfortable feeling.